Hi guys, it's Miss Russell. I am ready to finish our robots from last week. Today we're going to work on the background, and if you choose, it can be a lot of fun and a lot of mess because I'm planning on us using some bubbles to actually create this background. But we'll get to that in just a moment. You need a whole new piece of paper, so have your robot off to the side. We're not ready for it yet. We're actually going to cut that robot out and glue it on. So if you look close here, you can see mine it has been cut out and it's glued on. I don't know if you noticed, my hands are pretty messy. Using this bubble paint will make you pretty messy, but mine are actually messy because I was doing tie-dye today at the studio, and it always makes my hands pretty colorful for a day or two. So, you need a whole new piece of paper. I want you to have some fun with the background. Think of something outer space and create a picture of crazy outer space stuff. Stay away from words. Just add drawings and pictures to it. You're going to want to use crayon due to the bubble paint that we're going to do. So you can draw it with pencil first if you like, and then color your objects in. Yes, you can have alien spaceships if you want. You can have rockets. It's your picture. Have some fun. But I would love to see are some different kinds of planets or moons, because I want you to try doing a little bit of shading on one of them. So for example, if you look close at this one, hopefully you can kind of see where this side of the planet is a bit darker and that side is a bit lighter. And though you can't see the whole planet of this one, you can see where it started to get dark here, but it's lighter there. So you can use any colors you want, of course. But if you're trying to show some shading on a sphere, if I draw my planet, maybe I'll draw it yellow. No, it doesn't have to be the sun if it's yellow. This is art. Our colors don't have to make sense as we normally know them. So I'm going to call this a planet, even though I'm using this color that's usually more associated with suns. If I want to think of this side as light and this side as dark, so that means this side of my sphere, I'm going to color more yellow. And when I color a sphere is like a circle but rounded, three-dimensional, right? It's not flat. Because of that, I want to make sure that when I'm coloring it, I'm using curves. I'm not going back and forth. It's not flat, it's curved. I will put some yellow on this side, even though it's going to be more my darker side, but I'm not going to put as much. And I'll come back here and add even more of that yellow. So I want you to play with shading a sphere. Then I'm going to switch to some orange, and I'll add a little bit of orange effect into my light side, but I'm not pushing as hard. So I don't want my orange to take over that yellow. On my darker side, I will push harder and add a little bit more. I really just like mixing colors because it's kind of fun. Play with that. Play with mixing colors and seeing what they do. I'm going to switch to a darker orange. This planet might be a lot of mixing of lavas or something. And then I'm even going to switch to a red and really go back over some of those colors. Notice I spin my paper as I'm coloring. Your wrist has a natural curve, right? So if I'm trying to color this side, it's not as natural to do that as it is this. So I want to keep spinning my sphere so that my wrist is able to do what it naturally does with those curves. So have some fun. Add some planets of your choice. Mix those colors. Blend them together. Try and show me a light and a dark side. If you have oil pastels, this is much easier with oil pastels. The crayons are a little harder to really get those colors to blend together, but you can still show a light and a dark side. Add a few different things to your picture, and then you're ready to fill it in with the bubble paint. So with the bubble paint, you're gonna want a little cup. You do not need a whole lot of liquid soap. It can be hand soap, it can be dish soap, or maybe you have some bubbles at home that you can use. You can see it's really only got about that much soap in it. Then I'm gonna put a tiny bit of water. Still very little. So my soap is about that high, and my water is not even as much as my soap. Then I'm going to take a straw, and I'm going to mix them together. I'm going to use food coloring. You can use drops of paint, or you can, even if you don't have food coloring, you don't have paint, if you have Kool-Aid of different colors, you can do that. I'm going to use the primary colors. Think about the primary colors. What are the primary colors? Red, yellow, blue. I'm going to use the 3 primary colors and see what happens as they mix over my paper. I'm going to start by taking my food color, and I'm going to make some drops throughout my paper. There's no real right or wrong on this. You get to decide. The food coloring yellow is kind of orange, but it'll do. And then I'm going to put some into my cup. I'm going to put more blue than I do anything, because when I think of outer space, it's pretty dark, and that blue is going to darken it up. But I put all 3 into my cup. I'm not going to stir. I'm just going to start making bubbles. When you do that, you probably want to close your eyes, because those bubbles are going to possibly pop in your face and right into your eye. So I'm going to take this. Make sure you're kind of moving around as the bubbles start to create. Don't pop the bubbles. Let them pop on their own. But move your cup around as you are creating bubbles to completely cover your paper. And if you run out, then you just make some more. You just spin your whole. I would put down newspaper if you don't have a tray. So take your time, fill your paper up with bubbles, and set it to the side to dry. It will need to dry overnight before you can really do anything else. And once it is dry, then find your robot from last time, cut it out, glue it onto your artwork. When you are cutting it out, I want you to really cut all the way close to that robot. If you accidentally cut something off, maybe you'll cut off his arm. Not a big deal, just glue it back together. Please send me your artwork either on our Google Classroom or Artsonia, and I look forward to creating with you guys next week.